You're saying that the easiest solution is to kill the old people. What a hell of a hard job that is, because we all know kids are bloody hard work. The number of children that each woman has throughout her life in Britain is now at its lowest rate ever. Oh, Nick, that's a very naive look. Oh, let's all look after our old people. That isn't going to happen.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's amazing, and returning guest is a good friend of mine, Foxy, from the Silver Fox Hot Takes. How you doing, Foxy?
Hello, Nick. Hello, everybody. I feel like I ought to say hi, Dr. Nick, from The Simpsons, but but hello to everyone. Welcome back, and I do enjoy our talks.
Me too. I love talking to you. I love talking to Ash, and so do the audience. We have some really good discussions, which we need. We all need more discussions and different points of view, and we may have different points of view on this particular topic today, which will be interesting to see. You feel that the demographics in this country are not in our favor, as in the birth rate. I don't think it's a problem whatsoever. I think we'll easily overcome it. I'll let you put your case forward first.
Right, yeah, there is figures have been released. I've talked to you about this. Figures have been released that show that the total fertility rate, as it's called, which basically means the number of children that each woman has throughout her life in Britain, is now at its lowest rate ever, and it's been falling for 4 or 5 years, something like that. But it's now standing on average, a woman will have 1.41 children. This is well below the replacement rate, which should be about 2.1, which allows for people who don't have children, children who die before breeding, that kind of thing. So 2.1 is the replacement rate. We're at 1.41. It is very bad news. Now, I'm going to say why. It's simply probably not for you and me. We're old enough that we're going to be okay. As we age out the top, there's enough people underneath us to take care of our needs as we age and to maintain an economy. But for people who are, say, in their 30s, certainly even up until mid 40s, they're looking at maybe another 30 years' time. Us old farts will be gone. But you're going to have all these people at that age and then very few people underneath them who are much younger. And they have got to completely support an economy able to look after all those old people, pay their salaries, pay their pensions, as well as all the medical care, but also all the non-medical care, the being at home, the support, the structures that elderly people need. There aren't going to be enough people to do it. And we know this is happening. You can look at Japan and particularly South Korea, where this is now a problem of massive, epic proportions. And they don't know what to do. So what are we going to do? And it's happening. We need to encourage young women, particularly, to have many, many babies.
Right. My rebuttal to this will be, let's look at Japan and Korea straight away. Japan and Korea are not the sort of places who can create new systems, who think outside the box. They're very good at improving things that already exist. They don't create anything brand new themselves, so they're stuck. They'll need other people to come up with the answers to fix their societies. But in the UK, I don't think this is a problem. I think technology, AI, and new ways of working will fix our problems. That's how it's always been. When we had the Black Death 1,000 years ago, and it wiped out 20, 30, 50% of the population across Europe, but in the UK, what that did was that increased the wages of the manual workers. Innovation happens, and I think that's going to happen now. So if we can't run our country the way we run it now, if the birth rate is so low. So I get that. It does look like a problem, but I think we will solve that problem as time goes on. The first thing we need to do is stop trying to fix the problem now with mass immigration. Mass immigration is a sticking plaster for a very complicated problem. And that is just making the issue worse, because all those mass immigrants all get old and will all need looking after. So it's a Ponzi scheme. What I think we need to do is we end mass immigration, we improve the country, we make it a better country to live in, people then will have more children if it's a nicer place to raise children. If they can afford to buy a house, have a garden, one man could raise a family of two or three, the wife can stay home raising the children. If we start looking after our old people ourselves instead of sending them off to homes to be looked after, all these problems seem huge and seem big. But if we intend to run the country the way we run it now, it will require big change. But I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem.
Oh, Nick, that's a very naive look. Oh, let's all look after our old people. That isn't going to happen. Human beings don't do that anymore. Yes, you're talking about massive changes, but it isn't going to happen. And also, the idea of one man raising a family on a wage is it's just not there. Government policy is to get women to work, not because equality, but because they're working. We can tax them. That was the whole drive of getting women into work in the first place. Half the population weren't being taxed. Screw that. So that was there. No, you're not going. And the only way you're going to get from where you're saying is, hey, women, give up work. Go be housewives. Go and keep the house nice and clean for the husband coming home. Nick, it's not the 1920s, mate. Women ain't going to do it.
Women, you'd be surprised how many women would like that lifestyle. That's why we have 20% of UK women on antidepressants because they're having to do everything, having to have a career, a job, look after the children, look after home, look after social things. It's killing them. I'm not saying we force anybody to do these things. I'm saying we stop the Ponzi scheme we have at the moment, and humans will work out what they want to do themselves. Why is it the state's problem if we have far too many older people? So, yeah, the NHS needs to look after them. But if we can't afford the NHS, people will die earlier. There will become a natural equilibrium. And then people will take more.
Sorry, I just want to get there. I just want to get this. You're saying that the easiest solution is to kill the old people.
I'm not, I don't want to kill, don't want to kill anybody. I'm not saying we kill
No, I
them.
know. That's me forcing the argument. But what you're saying is, if without care, older people would die quicker, and you're saying that will bring it down. Yes, it will. I agree. But it's not a very good way of doing it, is it?
Oh, I think it is. If we have a new policy that what we value is quality of life, not longevity of life. So what our policy system at the moment is saying, we want you to live as long as possible. And it doesn't matter how much pain you're in and how poor your quality of life is. We want you to live forever. We need a different policy which says up to the day you die, we're going to value the quality of your life as opposed to longevity. It's a whole flip of the way we look at aging. So it will get to a stage where we don't live as long as we do now, but up to the day we die, we've got much better lives. So society itself will have to flip a lot of our ideas and what we want out of life and living. But these are conversations we need to have as a nation. It's going to take decades and decades to get here. And what will drive this will be necessity. That will drive it. And it won't be governments, it won't be policy, it will be necessity.
Well, we've got basically a 40-year pension catastrophe. In 40 years' time, it won't be there. It won't be the catastrophe anymore. But as people are aging, as you say, and living longer, that's why they keep raising the state pension age. Just as an aside, if we started dying younger again, if the average age started coming down, would they lower the pension age? Probably not, because money. But if you have this aging population now, it's going to peak in about 20 years with the most pensioners ever, but with a smaller workforce. Then, as the pensioners cark it at the top and it starts shrinking down, in about 40 years, you won't have that huge number of pensioners at the top because they'll all be dead. You will have them, but they'll only be the young people today growing up and out. And then underneath that will be a straight line. So you can have all these people working, the pensioners at the top. So it will sort itself out in 40 years' time anyway. But it's going to be horrendous in terms of care for today's 30s and early 40-year-olds because there won't be the facilities there to care for them. That will be, I think, at the end where you're talking about dropping off and not having the care and dying younger. But I don't think that's a very humane way of doing it, if I may say so. It's one of these things I think we generally agree on 99% of things. I think this is one of those where we are polar opposites, but at least we can talk about it and smile. This is the great thing. None of that, you know, you disagree with me, you're a bugger, and all that nonsense. I don't do that. I don't. I'm happily disagreeing with you. But the thing is, we disagree. There's going to be disagreements in the comments, isn't there? There's going to be a wild comment one.
Absolutely. And I think me and you are big enough and brave enough to say, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough in the comments. Come and have a go. Now, we're being told all the time that AI is going to decimate the workforce. So, therefore, we don't need to be importing more and more low skilled workers because AI is going to take over, allegedly. Now, if we industrialize and we use more technology at the lower end jobs, all those people are available to be paid if we need more paid workers to work with older people. There's so many jobs now that don't need to be done. Have you ever seen a strawberry picking machine?
No.
No. Google it after this. These are already working in fields in different countries. Little robots with 18 arms go out into the fields. They know red strawberries from unripe strawberries. They pick them like this. Lots of our jobs that we're having people to do can all be mechanized. And we're going to, again, if AI takes over, there's going to be other jobs we don't need anymore, like solicitors. Solicitors will be AI bots online that do your case for you because it's all case law. So there's many things we can start pushing people towards. And if we started treating care workers with a little bit more respect, if we started treating them like we do nurses and we paid them better, more British people would go into care.
Yeah, professionalize it.
Yes, professionalize it. We don't
Give them a qualification in care. Get a care qualification. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm going to say just about mechanizing jobs and whatever, AI. 35 years an accountant. When I started, I was a lowly little clerk, and I copied, and I started to tell you what, this is how old I am. I started on an actual manual book. You wrote it on one page and you went across 3 pages and you wrote it in the other column in the other book. Honestly, it's like something out of Dickens. Yes, Mr. Scrooge. But that's where I started.
When you were writing, it was actually ink or was it chalk?
Ink. Ink. Yeah, not chalk on a slate, mate. I'm not there. We were speaking English, not Roman. Although LSD, pounds, shillings, and pence, Librum, sesterci, and denari. It's the Roman coinage. That's why we had pounds, shillings, and pence. LSD.
No, I didn't know that.
No, I'm saying no. I started as a clerk, and then I became went from a ledger clerk to a senior controlling clerk, and then I became an office under manager, if you like. Then I became the office manager. Then I became an accountant. Worked 5 years in practice, and then came out with my shiny me. Look at me. I'm a newborn, new egg accountant, and off I went. Then I worked in the construction industry for years and years and years. Ended up basically running the entire accounts operation, doing planning and all it. But years of experience. Nowadays, they come out with a little accountancy degree. They've never done all the basic work going up. So when things go wrong, they don't know how to fix it because they weren't the clerks at the bottom learning the trade from sitting at the feet of the master, as it were. The only problem is those jobs don't exist anymore because I pick up my phone, right? I've got my company, and if I want to, I pick up my phone, I go, right, take a picture of the invoice, snap, load it into the software. It then says, oh, that's nice. It knows that this is going to be, for like, I don't know, transport cost, knows value, puts it in there, does the returns for you. Your whole bloody thing's done. You don't need the clerks. So nobody's coming up through the ranks. So when something goes wrong, you ask these little boys with their shiny little accountancy degrees, how are you going to fix that then? They go, I don't know. And they don't. So there is a place for people learning rather than just AI.
No, absolutely. But we know there's cost savings with AI, and we're a creature that always is looking for cost savings of energy, of time, of money, and stuff like that. Let me put these questions to you then to try to bolster my case. So, do you think if we had policies that supported men and women to get married and have children, do you think more men and women would get together, stay together longer, and raise more children together?
If it's more than just tax, yes, I think it would work. But it can't just be a tax base.
No. I'm talking about loads of policies that promote family life, promoting parents staying together raising children together, committing themselves. If we promoted that, more people would do that, and that would lead to more children, correct?
Theoretically, yes, I'll grant you that. Yeah, yeah, and I do agree, on the principle of having things that are family friendly and keeping people together. Just simply because if a family splits, that's two homes that have to be found. We haven't got enough homes.
So if we reduce mass migration and house prices take a tumble because suddenly we've got rid of 10, 15 million people and we're not importing any.
There'll be a glut of houses, prices drop. That's yeah, supply and demand, basic supply and demand.
So then couples, it's more affordable then to buy a house, to get married, to have children. Do you think that will lead to more children? Yeah.
Yes, and yes, and that's my argument. We need to have more children. So you're making my argument here for me, Nick. Good job.
So if also it was we made it more fashionable and socially acceptable for women not to pursue a career and to be just as valued as much if they decided to be a housewife, to raise children, and to do those things instead of juggling. I want, society's telling me I need to be a boss bitch, but they then this, I mean, again, decide people can still have women had careers 200 years ago. This wasn't a feminist thing. Technology opened the door to women, and then feminists convinced women this is the only way to be successful. If we had those policies that made being a stay-at-home mum more socially acceptable, do you think more women would stay at home and be a stay-at-home mum?
I don't think it's fashion. I think if you can't just say, oh, it's cool to be a stay-at-home mum, but I think you could say women who raise larger families should be respected. And you know, look, there's a woman there going down the road. She's got sort of three under three, one in a pram and a bump. And you're going, good girl, that should be there. And you're thinking, what a hell of a hard job that is, because we all know kids are bloody hard work. There's no taking away. So yeah, I think we need to respect people who've had lots of children, because they may not be sitting there in the boardroom cutting £1 million deals and things, but they've dealt with enough quite literal shit, but they've dealt with enough stuff that they are very worldly wise, experienced, knowledgeable in ways that can't be taught, that can only be experienced. So we need to appreciate that. But also the fact that when, okay, you've had your last kid, the kid's growing up, boom, they're out, you've got the empty nesters, get them back in, because they've got all those years of experience and knowledge and things that's valuable. Bring it in, do it.
Absolutely.
Into the care jobs, into the care profession, perhaps.
Yeah. So they're my questions on how we support the family. My next question is, do you think the human race, especially the English race, the British race, do you think we're really good at finding solutions to problems?
We're very good at creating problems. I don't think we're brilliant at finding the solutions to them.
Really?
Yeah, we generally walk away from things, don't we? You look at all the things we've invented, and yet other people have made the money on. We don't benefit from our own genius, if you will. We invented television, but we don't make any televisions in this country. And the TV programs we make are all rubbish anyway. We invented football. We're not very good at football. We invented cricket. We're not very good at cricket. We invented rugby. Yeah, okay, we're okay at rugby. Give you that one. But computers, we invented computers. It's not us anymore. We've given the world so much.
We have.
We've never, ever profited by what we've invented.
That wasn't the question I asked. The question I asked was, are we good at solving problems?
No, genuinely, I don't think we are.
Oh, I think the human race is exceptional. I think the English and the British.
Humans are brilliant. Humans are geniuses. I just don't think we, the British, are very good at it.
Oh,
Not anymore.
I think the English British excel the average human in when it comes to solving problems. We still invent and create so much in this country. Do we maximize the profits of it? That's your argument, and we probably don't. But every problem that comes along, humans nearly always find an answer and improve it. That's the history of mankind, is overcoming nature, the elements, other animals, setting up societies. And some of it's taken a long time, but the last 50, 100 years, it's excelled. The problem of a declining birth rate and who's going to look after our older people and who's going to fund the economy, in the grand scheme of things, I think is a small problem that we will easily overcome. It won't be a silver bullet. There'll be many aspects of this. And that's why I'm not worried about it. I'm really not worried about it.
It takes one genius to change society, and geniuses are rare little creatures. But when you've got a falling birth rate, your chances of finding that genius become smaller. When you've got a high birth rate, chances are more geniuses are born. And I think that is what's going to doom us. We're not having enough children for the geniuses to emerge, you know? Um, and that's outside of any kind of financial implications. I just don't think we're having enough children for advancement.
Well, there's truth to that, but the percentages in that are very low. So you're so let's say the birth rate halves, or no, it's not even halved yet. It's gone down by what's that? A third. The birth rate's fell by a third. That's only that's only a third less geniuses. You know, these are still small numbers, and I'm not. I don't think a genius will get us out of this. Geniuses are very rare, as we all know. I think it will be a multi-faceted approach where one person who's fairly intelligent will solve this problem and someone will solve that problem and someone will retweak how we do this. And over a couple of decades, this problem will be solved. Because I don't think there is a silver bullet. I don't think somebody will come along and go, I've invented this, this now solves all that. I think it'll be a multifaceted approach where clever people just fix systems and fix this and fix that, fix policies, listen to the people. And even though it seems like a problem today, over the long term, I can't see it being a problem. That's my final.
I think it, yeah, okay. I think it's a 40-year problem. I think in 40 years we won't have the problem,
Hmm,
but it's going to be a rough 40 years for those in their 30s and 40s now.
it sounds like me and you completely agree. I think we've just got a different way of discussing it. So I agree with you. We need to we need to incentivize and build a better country so people have more children. You agree with we need more children. You think it's an issue over the next 40 decades, 4 decades. But at the beginning, I thought your point of view was this is almost an existential threat to the country. And my answer was no, it's a problem, but we'll get over it. So I think we're in agreement. I just think we've got a different way of expressing the problem.
I think we're looking at the same problem from different perspectives. We both agree that more children are needed. How we go about that is up for debate. Um, you think it's not a problem. I think it's a major problem. But I say that it's only going to be a major problem for a 40-year period. After that, no problem at all. I think what we've got is a horrifying 40 years, and then it's sorted. But you don't think it's a problem at all. And that's where we're different. But
I think it's a problem. I don't think it's an existential problem. I don't think it's
I don't know. No, I don't think it's not. We're not going to be wiped out as a nation. We're going to be a smaller nation. There's going to be a lot fewer people. And of course, with all these 1.5 million houses that dear Angela's going to build, they'll all be lying empty because there's going to be maybe half the population. If we stopped immigration now, in 40 years' time, we'd have half the population in this country. And at that point, all those little, two up, two down terraces can all be bulldozed and cleared and turned into parks because nobody's going to live in them because you've got all these better, newer houses lying there empty. So everyone can have a nicer, bigger house with a garden. And you can just mow down all those Victorian things, get rid of them. They're inefficient, cold, windy, drafty, horrible, damp. Get rid of them. Have open parks and have a better quality of life with fewer people.
I think I it sounds like you now absolutely agree with me. So I'll take that as a win.
Let's call it a draw.
I think I thought we were going to disagree a lot more. I think we basically agree. It's I think it's how we define the problem. You think it's a big problem. I can see it's a problem, but I think we'll overcome it. You think we'll overcome it. You're thinking, but you'll think it'll take 4 decades, and it'll solve itself.
It will solve itself by death. Yeah, death of the old.
I think we'll solve most of it through innovation and through social policy and people changing their behaviour. Um, but we're, we're virtually on the same hymn sheet.
If we're both here in 40 years' time, we'll find out who's right.
I'm only 23, so I might be.
God, that must have been some paper round.
I've had a hard life. I've had a hard life. My granddaughter said to me,
I'll be 98. If I can make it to 98, I'll be happy about that.
"Well, do we want? I mean, that's the question again. That was part of my argument. Do we want to get to 98? Is quality of life more important to you or longevity?"
Listen, if I'm 98 and fighting a duel with a man over my lover, I will be a very happy 98-year-old.
Right, I'm going to leave that conversation there because that's the memory, that's the image I want in my mind.
That's an image.
Yes. Foxy, thank you very much, and let's do this again soon.
Absolutely wonderful. Thanks very much, Nick, and thanks very much to all of you poor people who've had to put up with us. Cheers. Bye.
Don't forget, go in the description and subscribe to Fox's account on YouTube. See you soon.